This is Will County's News Talk Sports 1340 WJOL. Time for another edition of Money Talk, brought to you by our friends at NuMark Credit Union. Today we're going to talk about the Down Payment Plus program. We have a couple of guests. We'll introduce you them in just a couple of moments. Hey, if you're looking for a new vehicle, NuMark Credit Union can help you do more with your money. Rates as low as 6.49 APR for 60 months for a new or pre-driven vehicle. Save money when you purchase a new car or refinance your current loan. Call 815-729-3211 or visit a NuMark office near you, NuMark Credit Union, where you are family. Also, at the end of the program, going to give away a $25 Visa gift card, compliments of NuMark Credit Union. Just pay attention for the next handful of minutes, and you are going to learn a lot of stuff. I'm going to pluck one little nugget of information that either Harry or Felipe have given us, and we will ask you to repeat that information. And if you are the correct caller and have the correct answer, you're going to get yourself a $25 Visa gift card, compliments of NuMark Credit Union. Ladies and gentlemen, Harry Stewart, front and center, NuMark Credit Union, Vice President of Mortgage Lending, and just generally a very good human being. Mr. Stewart, good morning, sir.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Always great talking with you. And, I love these programs.
Yeah, I think we probably need to do lunch soon, and I think it's your turn to buy. So pick a day and let's do it, okay?
All right, we'll do that and some golf, too.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. We could probably do them on the same day. I'd like to say good morning to Felipe Amezcua. He joins us here this morning on the Turk Furniture Studio Line, Senior Mortgage Originator from NuMark. Hi, Felipe. How you doing, sir?
Good, and yourself?
Good. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. Hey, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. I personally don't recall interviewing you. Harry I've had on multiple times, and I can tell you a lot of things about Harry, probably more than you know, Felipe. But tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been with NuMark?
About 7 years.
Okay. All right. So where are you from originally? Where'd you grow up?
In Chicago.
Okay, in Chicago. And went to Chicago Public High School?
Yes, I went to Farragut High School.
Farragut High School. All right, cool. I had a college buddy of mine that went to Farragut High School. So there you go. I've now met two from Farragut. Well, thanks for coming on this morning. We appreciate it. We're going to get into this Down Payment Plus program. For those who don't know, I want you guys to explain what it is and how it differs from other assistance programs. And Harry, I'll go ahead and start with you on this. This is something that I don't recall knowing existed. So tell us a little bit about the Down Payment Plus.
So the Down Payment Plus program is basically a partnership between us and Federal Home Loan Bank of Chicago. They allocate at the beginning of the year was $700,000 that we could offer to our members for down payment assistance. But they recently increased that to $1 million. So it's a grant program where we could offer to our member borrowers $10,000 to use towards their down payment or closing costs to help with the purchase of a home. Oh. And some of the special things about this program is you don't have to credit qualify. There's no monthly payments. It's completely forgivable after 5 years. And it actually helps a lot of people with one of the main hurdles for home ownership is coming up with that down payment or the money for closing costs. And this program eliminates the hurdle for most people.
Wow, so, that's cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, Felipe, how does this different from other assistance programs? Because there are others out there. How's this one different?
There is others out there, but the difference between this one and the other ones is the others record a second mortgage on the property, and this one doesn't. It just records a retention agreement, so which means they could refinance down the line or sell without having to pay it back. Okay, so let's... Or if they ever... Right. Or if they ever want to do a line of credit against a property, they can. They can do that. The other ones, they can't.
Okay, gotcha. Correct. So the specifics of the $10,000 grant. Let's do specifics if you will, and whoever wants to jump on this one can. And then we're going to talk a little bit about first-time home buyers. But specifically speaking, the $10,000 grant, what are those specifics?
You want to tackle that one, Felipe?
Well, pretty much it's just the way it works is like you qualify for the $10,000. You can use for down payment and closing costs, but it's not. Let's just say it's not $5,000 for one and $5,000 for the other. So what happens is, let's just say down payment, closing costs, everything comes out to, let's just say $15,000. Mm-hmm. They'll apply the $10,000 to the bottom line, and then the borrower just comes in with $5,000.
Okay. All right. And that's big for a lot of reasons that we'll tell you about in just a little bit. Harry, how can first-time home buyers utilize this grant, or can't they?
So the best thing about the program, or one of the best things about the program, is you do not have to be a first-time home buyer in order to get the grant. It's open to all home buyers. The only caveat to this particular grant program is it's income sensitive, so you do have to income qualify. It's based on total household income of the county that you're purchasing the property in. So there's a huge table of different like maximum incomes for the program, but basically you could say it's 80% of the HUD median income for the household in the county that they're buying in, and that's really the only qualification for the grant. It's we don't have to credit qualify. There's not like certain programs that we have to pair it with. We paired it with conventional loans, home ready Fannie Mae loans, FHA loans. We paired it with almost every first time home buyer product or just a regular product. So it's pretty flexible.
Yeah. Harry, I don't know if you have the chart in front of you or not, but we're here in Will County, 80% of the HUD in Will County. Do you happen to have that number off top of mind?
I knew you were going to ask that, and I didn't pull up those.
we will by the end of the program, I'm sure.
But yeah, there's so many figures on there. I could pull up the 80% program.
I figured you could. You're a whiz at this. Felipe, any other specific requirements or conditions that applicants need to meet?
Well, they have to take a online course, home buyer's education, and then they have to do an interview with the home counselor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which we all do through the process, and we send them out the links for all that stuff.
So what type of questions do they get asked in the interview? What are you guys looking to learn about them?
Well, we don't do the interview for that class. The home counselor does, the HUD counselor does.
Sure.
So they pretty much, all they look for is just want to make sure that the person knows how to balance their money and not fall back on payments and be able to pay the mortgage back. Yeah,
kind of go a little deeper than just a credit score, right?
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. While we're still going to get that number here in a moment, but kind of, Felipe, if you would, walk us through the application process for a new home buyer, and then in addition, the Payment Plus program. What do we need to do?
Well, first we got to look at your income and your credit, and then based on both, we'll see how much you qualify for, and see also what else, like what kind of payment you want to stay around, because you might qualify for a lot more than you want to pay.
Right. So
then we'll work numbers around the person's comfort level on the payment, and while we're doing that, we also see what their income level is and see if they qualify for the grant at the same time. So it's not two separate applications; we do it at the same time.
Okay. As far as documentation is concerned, when someone comes to apply to buy a new home for mortgage and this Down Payment Plus program, if they do qualify, what do they need to bring?
Normally, we want to see the last 3 consecutive pay stubs, and last 2 years W-2s, and if they're self-employed, the last 2 years full tax returns.
Okay. All right. So you guys take a look at that, and that way you get a exact idea of what kind of income that they are bringing in. Harry, did you find that number yet?
Yeah, it was just like the chart is pretty comprehensive. It's like all the counties in Illinois, and I wanted to give an exact figure because Like you could kind of estimate, but really for a household of one person, you're at $62,800 in Will County. That's going to be your max household income to qualify for the grant.
Okay.
If you have a household of, let's say, four members in your household, your max household income could be $89,700 and still qualify for the grant.
Okay. All right. Good. I mean, those are doable for a lot of people. So a lot of people, I'm sure, listening right now would qualify for something like that. Harry, kind of talk a little bit to receiving, if someone's lucky enough to qualify and eventually get this $10,000 grant. How does it affect the overall affordability of purchasing a first home for those first-time home buyers?
Well, I would say, like, it, especially in Illinois, you get that seller tax credit to help cover some of the costs. So that, because in Illinois the real estate taxes are paid in arrears. But the $10,000 is going to cover your down payment and your closing costs in a lot of cases on your first home. So to have that type of flexibility, usually a lot of people will be saving up for a long time to save up $10,000. And with the home buying class that Felipe mentioned earlier, and that counseling, it really puts them in a good position to buy their first home. So I think it's a great program, and we've got probably another $600,000 to give away by the end of the year. So I think it's a great program.
Oh yeah, for sure. What will this do also for someone in terms of getting that mortgage? Will this help them get a lower interest rate because they have more money down? Is that a possibility as well?
No, because I would say the grant's not going to do it, but the counseling and the first-time home buyer class that they take, that'll help get lower MI and a lower rate.
Nice.
But the grant itself is not going to be the vehicle for that.
Okay. We're talking with Harry Stewart, Vice President of Mortgage Lending at NuMark Credit Union, and Felipe Amezcua from NuMark, Senior Mortgage Originator. Felipe, is this grant program specific to our local area? Is it statewide?
It's statewide and pretty much nationwide, too. We could do it in any state as long as you're a member of the credit union. Then we could do it in any region.
Okay.
But the amount's gonna vary, too, on that particular county for that area.
Sure. Is there a website or a place for people to call to find out if similar programs exist in their regions, if they are listening right now online in other states, which a lot of people are?
There isn't one specific to look at that, only in our site. They could go in and they punch the information, and then we could be able to give them that information.
All right. Harry, any other restrictions we need to discuss? We talked about, salary. We talked about, you must take an online course, must complete an interview. Any other restrictions that we did not bring up that need to be made clear?
There's other things that would prevent us from doing the grant. Like, we can't do it on any rental properties, any 2 to 4 unit. We can't have non-occupying co-signers and get the grant. But for the most part, the grant is supposed to help you move into your primary residence. So, and I always like to joke around when I talk about the grant. I'm like, well, we kind of have the keys to the cookie jar. Usually these grants, you have to jump through, you have to apply separately, and you have to jump through all sorts of hoops. Like with this particular grant, since we're members of the Federal Home Loan Bank of Chicago, we have the keys to the cookie jar. We help. We walk our members right through the process. We handle everything for them. We get the right paper, and we're pretty good at it. Felipe is actually a resident expert, of the Downpayment Plus program. He's helped probably 50 or 60 members every single year, since we started doing this in 2017. So he's like a wealth of knowledge when it comes to grant program.
Awesome. So this started up in 2017, and you've given away millions of dollars at this point. Felipe, since you've been doing this so long, can you talk a little bit about some success stories? Do you have any stories that come to mind about how you were able to help someone who wouldn't have been able to get a home otherwise without the grant?
Yeah, we had a bunch of families that were looking. They couldn't, they were still waiting to save up some down payment and pretty much ran some numbers for them and told them this is pretty much what you actually need to be able to do it using the grant. So they would come to the table with the less money possible and able to get a house now instead of waiting to save in a few years.
And it's a big thing, too, because so many people do have to wait for one reason or another. But if they call you guys, Felipe, they won't have to wait, maybe.
No, they would just work out the numbers for them and see if they're in a position now or how much longer they have to wait, even using the grant.
Right, absolutely.
So we'll walk them through it to make sure they get the right knowledge and available for it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Harry, what tips or advice would you give to our listeners who are considering applying for a grant under this program?
The first step, like Felipe mentioned, first step is just to make contact with us. Give us a call at NuMark or shoot us an email. Do the application, and we'll basically know within 5-10 minutes of talking to you in most cases if you're going to qualify for the grant. The table's easy to look at once you have it up. The HUD median income levels. That's really the only qualifier for the program. There are those restrictions that I mentioned, but it's really income based. So if we know your income, we know your whether or not you're going to qualify.
Okay, and that's again for one person, $62,000, and then a family of four, you're looking at just under $89,700. Any other tips or advice, Felipe, you'd like to give?
Like I said, just give us a call. We'll walk you through the process and see what we can do for you and try to get you in the house as soon as possible.
Okay, and is there any time limit on this, Felipe? Do they need to do this by a certain amount of time?
No, there's no specific time because it renews every year. But will it renew every year? We're hoping it does, but we're not sure.
Exactly. But the money eventually each year, though, the money runs out, correct?
Eventually it does. So, the sooner the better. If you want to do it this year, you got to come in and
let's go.
Give us a call.
Let's go. And speaking of buying a home, Mr. Stewart, how is the market right now? We still do not, unless something has happened in the last month or so. I've not been paying close attention with other news stories happening around the world that we live in. How we doing? We still low on inventory in Will County?
Yeah, inventory's still low, but we've been pretty busy. It's hard to tell if it's like the market turning around or if it's just like the summer market's always pretty busy. So it's hard to tell, but we're still busy. The inventory's still low. Rates are kind of creeping down. They're in that like I know when we talked before, the rates were kind of approaching almost 8% a couple months ago, and now they're into the mid sixes. So we're not too far off from being super busy again. So
good. That's good for NuMark and for mortgage originators, no doubt about that. Harry Stewart, Vice President Mortgage Lending, Felipe Amezcua, the Senior Mortgage Originator. Thanks for coming on the program, gentlemen. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Scott.
You bet.
Thank you for having us.
All right, you bet. We'll be giving away a $25 Visa gift card in a moment. I do want to remind you, one of the difficulties now is buying a used car because interest rates are so high, but not at NuMark Credit Union. They can help you do more with your money rates as low as 6.49 APR for 60 months for new or used vehicles. Save money when you purchase a new car or refinance your current loan. Call 815-729-3211 or visit a NuMark office near you, NuMark Credit Union, where you are family. All right, true or false question today. A lot of information there. I'm gonna go with this one though. True or false? I want This is for a $25 Visa gift card from NuMark Credit Union. So 815-254-7300, 815-254-7300. True or false? I want to buy a couple of rental units. It's kind of like a town, kind of like a little duplex. Can I use this program? Can I use the Down Payment Plus program if I'm going to rent out my units to other people? True or false? Or yes or no? Yes or no, not true or false. Can I qualify for this program if I want to buy rental units and rent them out and not live there myself? Yes or no? 815-254-7300. Let's go to the Turk Furniture Studio line. Hi, good morning. You're on WJOL. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, you're speaking to Sandra.
Sandra, where are you calling from today?
Crest Hill.
Ooh, if you win, you won't have far to go. Sandy, can I do that? Can I buy rentals and then get this free money in this grant?
No.
You sounded just like Harry Stewart, just with a higher voice. Didn't she, Harry? She said that's exactly what you would have said, Harry.
For your principal property.
You got it exactly right. Sandra, hang on the line. It's for primary residences only. Sandra, you are the winner. Hang on. Got to get some more information from you, and that's going to wrap things up for another edition of Money Talk, brought to you by our friends at